about NexGard, the #1 choice of vets for their dogs and yours.
If you love the Maury Show, you're going to love our new time, 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. weekdays on PIX 11.
At a new time, weekday mornings at 9, only on PIX 11.
All right, pediatricians see dozens of patients every week, and some of their best advice may come from under their own roofs. Julia Edelstein joining us this morning. She's Senior Health Editor of Parents. And you have some genius secrets from Pediatrician Parents. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
We're happy to have you. And some of this stuff is really interesting, including the potty training tip, which kind of blew my mind. But let's start with sleep issues, because that's like for a new parent, you know, like I'm a new parent, it's killing us right now, the sleep situation.
Yes.
So what's the solution to sleep problems? Well,
we hear from so many millennial moms and dads that they're struggling with sleep. And the trick is you have to pick a strategy and stick with it for 2 weeks.
Okay. See, that's tough.
Yes, it's tough because after a couple nights, if it's not working, you're ready to give up. You're ready to try something else. But you really need to stick with it for 2 weeks. You've got to keep your routine steady for 2 weeks. No sleepovers at grandma's, no caving. And after 2 weeks, if it's not working, then you can try something else.
Okay, because I think an instinct is, oh gosh, it's not working. Let's try something different. Okay, tantrums.
Yes.
How do you end the tantrums?
Yes, I've been using this tip with my own son, and I have to say it's working because he has a lot of energy. So when you notice your kid is having a tantrum or about to have a tantrum, encourage them to run. So they can run in place, they could run around the backyard, they can
use
run
that
around
energy they have because it's all pent up, and then they're running and they're getting it out. That's interesting.
So it's a very healthy way to burn off energy, and then they could do deep breathing afterwards, or they could blow bubbles if they're little, which is, you know, a form of deep breathing, and then you can figure it out.
Okay, that's a really good tip.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of kids, boys and girls, they get outside, they rough and tumble, they come back with, you know, cuts and bruises and whatnot. When do you know when a cut needs to go to the ER, and when can you just stick a Band-Aid on it and, you know, give it a kiss or whatever?
Yes, well, we all have that moment when our kid comes to us with blood gushing from somewhere and we panic. So this is really a tip to help mom and dad not panic.
Okay.
When your kid has a cut, go to the freezer, get some ice, put it in a paper towel, and hold pressure to the cut for 3 minutes.
Okay.
If at the end of 3 minutes there's still blood, that means you've got to go to the emergency department and get stitches.
That is a really good tip, and that's going to help a lot of people out.
Yes.
So 3 minutes, ice on it. If it's still bleeding, then you have real issues.
Yes.
All right, all right, potty training now. This is interesting. So you have a tip for kids that are having trouble with potty training. So what is it?
Well, most kids, when they're beginning to be ready for potty training, they have a little spot in the house where they like to do their business. They might be behind the couch, behind a chair. They kind of like to go hide.
Yeah.
So put the potty wherever it is they like to go hide. Don't worry about the bathroom. They're not comfortable in the bathroom. They've never gone to the bathroom in the bathroom. Put the potty behind the couch, and your kid might get the hint that that's where they're supposed to go.
You put the potty. I've never heard that before. That seems kind of strange to me.
I know. It's a little unorthodox, and you're probably not going to want to do it if you're having company over. But you know, that first weekend of potty training, it's a good way to start.
Okay, and I think it was Linda Church that was saying a while back to put Cheerios in like the toilet or like the potty, and like the little boys will like try and aim for things, I guess. All right, swallowing pills, that could be an issue for little kids and big kids, as I found out earlier.
Yes, I struggled with this a lot as a kid. I wish I had had this tip. Don't teach kids to swallow pills when they're sick. No one wants to learn something new when they're not feeling well. Instead, when they're healthy, you can use candy, which is also a lot less intimidating than medicine. You can start with a sprinkle or a mini M&M. You can work your way up to a cooked edamame, and just practice swallowing it with water. And it can actually be kind of fun for kids, and they feel a sense of accomplishment, especially when they're not feeling sick.
So it's like you're training them. I love that. I love that. I love that. And then household items that you should always have on hand. What do we need at all times?
So we ask pediatricians what they have on hand. They're not just using over-the-counter drugs and prescriptions. These were 3 of their favorites. Olive oil for an ear infection. A couple drops into the ear, as long as there's not pus coming out of the ear, can be really, really soothing.
Wow, really? Interesting.
Yes. You can warm it up too a little bit. Elderberry syrup. This is actually delicious. It's really sweet. It tastes a little bit like blackberry.
What does this do?
This can shorten a cold, and it can also prevent a cold. So you can give your kids this every day, a teaspoon, or when they're sick, you can give it to them even more often, and it will decrease the symptoms.
And Epsom salt. I've soaked in this myself as an adult, but how does this help the kids out?
Yes, everybody has this run for sore muscles. Put a couple teaspoons into a pot of warm water, and if your kid has a cut that stopped bleeding, they can soak it in here, and it'll prevent infection.
Love that. Thank you so much, Julia. Great information from Parents Magazine. You got to check it out. A lot of great tips in there. Time right now, 6:59. News at 7 starts now.